When does the narcissist finally leave you alone? In this video, I'm going to be discussing a few things that have got to happen in order for the narcissist to finally move on with their life and leave you alone for good. Number one, they need good supply. If you were or are a primary source of supply for a narcissist, it will take them some time to leave you alone. Primary supply is not easy for them to come by. They don't want to toss you away for merely some secondary source. They want something to replace you with that is just as good, preferably better than what it was you were offering to them. And they can't exactly just peek around the corner and find something like that most of the time. When they can't find a good person to go ahead and jump to, they will continuously keep things going with you, maybe running hot and cold while they're trying to find somebody new. They're blowing up your phone, but then they're ghosting you. But once they have found this new person and they leave, you and I both know that might not actually completely be the end of it. Many times these people think that they have found just the next best thing in the world, but in a few months' time, you end up getting hoovered because nope, it turns out that this new person just wasn't true love after all for the narcissist. What a surprise, right? Eventually, they will find a new source, they will keep moving forward, and they will stay gone. It might take a little trial and error on their end, but they will eventually stop coming around. Truthfully, narcissists don't like to hoover. They don't like to have to keep coming back into your life or into anyone's life where they already know the deal. There isn't much supply there for them to get. It's not really a very good source. They want someone new. They need someone new, a brand new person to fool. You know all of their tricks, and so do other people who've already dealt with this person. And this makes you less valuable supply, unfortunately. They really do want to keep things moving forward. So there will come a point where they will leave you alone. They will have moved too far forward to really consider you anymore. It might take a little time until they find enough sources for them to kind of clear you out of their memory a little bit, but most of the time after they jump around with a couple people, they do let it go. They do move on. But another thing that has to happen is number two, you need to stay completely unavailable. Staying unavailable to these people when they hoover or come back around is one of the keys to making sure that they do leave for good. They will be less likely to hoover you if you keep on your own path, maybe moving out of the house with them, back with your family, out on your own, keeping them blocked on social media, not picking up the phone when they call, not answering the door, all of those things and more. Send that message that you're not available, just like in the first point that I made. They might jump to somebody else and go, uh-oh, that doesn't work. And that's when they're going to try to hoover you. And that is when you have to remain vigilant that you are not available for every time one of their relationships fail. It's not you that they're going to keep bouncing back to. Oh, person B didn't work. Well, let me bounce back to A. Oh, C didn't work. Let me go back to A. You are going to maintain that message that you are unavailable for them every time something's wrong. You're not the one to go back to. And this can take some time to set in. Narcissists, as we know, are very possessive. They have a huge sense of entitlement, and a lot of them have an absolutely ridiculous ego. They feel entitled to do these things. You belong to them. You need to do what they say. And this can make staying away from them difficult, but that is the message that needs to be displayed. If a narcissist feels like they can still get something from you, even if they feel like you will allow them back in time and time again, the little tiniest bit, they will not let up. They will not leave you alone. The more and more things fail, they will keep trying to come back to you. They feel as if there is something they can gain. And none of this behavior is healthy. We have to keep in mind that there are times when we are also sending mixed signals to people who are narcissistic. We go back and forth and waffle with our answers. Maybe we have told ourselves we're going to be no contact, but a few days later we break. Well, that sends a mixed signal. You won't talk to them. Now you will. We can go back and forth. We can be confusing on top of their confusion. And none of this is good. And none of this can be happening if you want to make the narcissist bail out and leave for good. You can't be sending any kind of mixed signals. You can't choose no contact and then not. Well, I'm going to block and now I'm going to unblock, or I don't have anything to say right now and now I do. And again, I think that stems from us wanting to do the right thing, but just not being able to hold on to that. Maybe they have said something enticing, whatever the case may be. We have to stay firm that we are not available. Every time something bad happens in this person's life, we are not responsible to rock them in there snugly until they feel better or get back in a relationship with them so that they feel loved, whatever the case is. None of that has anything to do with you. If you'd like to talk one-on-one about what you're going through or what you've gone through in a toxic relationship with someone narcissistic, you can always send an email to BookAChatWithJess@gmail.com to set up private chats with me. Number 3, you might need to force a narcissist to leave you alone. Some narcissists might need a little, for lack of a better word here, encouragement when it comes to leaving you alone. Things like a visit from the police, a restraining order, a PPO, personal protection order, if that is what they call it where you live. They might need to be arrested. They might need some jail time. They might need a court date. They might need to pay a fine. It's never good when you have to go this route, but I wouldn't do the video justice if I didn't talk about this. Normally, most people don't have to resort to this. However, it depends on if you're being left alone, how long you've been left alone, have you at all, how badly are you being messed with. Just ignoring them sometimes isn't the answer. Blocking their number is a great thing until they get a new one and a new one and a new one and new social media, and they're still driving by your house and knocking on your door. And these are the more obsessive-y, stalky narcs that require more drastic measures. And I don't mean to scare anybody, and I don't want to trigger anybody or anything like that. But this is stuff that, while it's quite rare, we do still have to talk about it. Most of the time, they do eventually find somebody new. They will back up. They might still maybe peek at your social media. They might drive down your street. But normally, once they find someone new, they're normally not up in your face and stalking you and following you. Some are, some aren't. This is a topic that is honestly quite difficult to speak on because everybody in all of our situations is very, very different. But there are times where, in order to get these people to really take that hint, we have to do things incredibly drastic. We have to move. We have to change jobs. We have to move in with family maybe, or delete social media, work on a whole new fresh start. I've had to do something, a little bit similar to that when I had somebody who was stalking and, for a while and would not leave me alone. I had to move, and a lot of things had to be changed and be different in order to move on with some semblance of a normal life. We need to sometimes resort to some of these things that are quite extreme. And then we have to work on staying gone and out of this person's lives. We have to work hard to make sure that we don't allow any more people who behave like this into our life. Now, I have to be clear about all of this. All of these things are great. No contact, blocking, moving if you want to get a whole new start or need a whole new start. It might not stop this person who wants to be with you, who thinks they need you, who wants to stalk you. So much of this is done just to harass you, just for the laughs, for the power, for the control, for everything else that's super gross that these people want. Whether they have somebody new or they don't. They want the power. They want the control. They just want to know that they can do this. They want to know they can scare you or be a creep or cause anguish and all that kind of stuff. So here's the thing. Just like they got bored of you, of me, of us, they'll get bored with their new person too, because they will do all these things even when they have a new person. And then they're right back to you. It really isn't even so much about supply. Again, I have to go back to dominance, power, control. This makes them feel superior. It's all about their ego. Has nothing to do with you or the new person. So what I want to do is I want to ask if you have any tips for how to beat a lot of this stuff or to feel better. Please share it in the comments. Anything helpful that anyone can share about how to stay no contact, how to handle these people, when is maybe a good time to get a restraining order, or even if you can throw in the comments the names of some channels. Links aren't going to work in the comments, but some channels or some titles of some videos that might be helpful, because we need to figure out how to get these people gone for good. So maybe learning what has helped other people will help others as well as they're trying to get more information. Thank you very much for listening. Please subscribe if you haven't for more videos on narcissism. Have a great day, survivor, and take care of yourself.